Be ready? Start. The word democracy, I know, can mean many things, but I am talking of what is called parliamentary democracy. There are other methods which may equally be democratic but which are different. Why have we chosen parliamentary democracy? Because we think that in the long run it produces the best results. If we come to the conclusion that it does not produce the best results, well, we change it. Obviously, because we want results. What are the results we are aiming at? National well-being and the happiness of the millions and millions of our people. We have at the present moment a country which is industrially not developed, although we are industrially more developed than any other country in Asia apart from Japan. I am not at the moment taking into consideration the Soviet regions of Asia. Apart from these two exceptions, India is industrially better developed than any country, certainly more than China. Nevertheless, we are an underdeveloped country. Our standards of living is low. We have got to raise that, and in raising that we have got to find employment for all our people. What are our objectives? We may define them in many ways, but perhaps one way which is more important than others is to find progressively fuller employment till we reach full employment through increased production. You may also say that greater ought to imply better distribution. If that is our approach, how are we to do it in this very complicated situation that we are in, with an underdeveloped economy and with very little surplus to invest? We cannot compare our problems with those of the industrialized West because they have had centuries or at any rate generations of growth. We cannot compare ourselves with Soviet Russia, the only country which in a sense is comparable to China, which also has a vast population, unemployment, very low standards and underdevelopment of industries. Therefore, it is conceivable that as they achieve progress according to their ways, we may be able to learn something from them. But China has passed through 40 years of civil war and international war. We had fortunately a peaceful transfer of power in this country with a running machine. A running machine has its advantages and disadvantages. I prefer the advantages. The disadvantage may be that you are tied up with certain processes which take time to change. Advantages are obvious that you do not destroy and start from scratch. We started at a higher level, as I said, compared to most countries in Asia. This has led to stability, political, economic and social, which shall help growth. We started planning, as the House will remember, 3 years or 4 years ago with very little data. It is very difficult to plan without data. Gradually we have collected data. Gradually we have made the states and the people in the states plan conscious. All the time we have had to face the terrific problem of food shortage in this country. We came to the conclusion, rightly or wrong, that in the first 5-year plan, the most important thing was the agricultural front. Of course, we are carrying on with the river valley schemes, and we have put up factories and many other kinds of plants, but essentially we realized that food shortage was the big problem and we concentrated on that. We did that because we felt that unless we had a strong food basis, our industrial efforts might well be bogged down. Para. Honorable members who have studied the history of other countries probably know that too much stress on heavy industries has produced difficult problems in those countries. In fact, the price paid for rapid industrialization has been terrific in some socialistic countries. I am certain that no country with any kind of parliamentary democracy can possibly pay it. Maybe where there is a dictatorship with an army behind it, they may be able to do it, but even a dictator cannot go too far without the consent of the people. Real progress must ultimately depend on industrialization. That industrialization ultimately depends on heavy industries, even to preserve our national independence and much more to raise our standards of living. Heavy industries are essential. But if we go in for heavy industries alone and not think of the other factors, it's quite possible that our problems will become much more difficult. It is possible also that unemployment will grow. We have to face the problems which China has to face. Of course, we hear many kinds of reports about China. There are good accounts and true accounts. There is terrific unemployment in China. Their own leader says so. They are trying to face it, perhaps in a different way. The same problem comes up before us. We want higher techniques. We cannot progress without higher techniques. But the moment we think of higher techniques, we cause unemployment. We do not want unemployment. We want more employment. We want that no one be unemployed. Here, stop.